Lots of good stuff coming to ZZN, friends. We just got the patch notes, and I think these are a little bit more detailed than what we saw in the live streams. So I'm going to cover this all. Spoiler alert, I'm going to do a separate video for our new character, Chizuru. I'm probably saying it wrong, because I'm going to pull her. And once I pull her, I'll have her cards in game. And I've been theory crafting quite a few different builds for her just in the last couple hours alone. So let's just go through this. I'm going to give you the highlights and not read line by line for you. But first of all, now is the best time to join Raid Shadow Legends with me. And why is that? Well, because they just added a Xenomorph, an alien to the game, as well as Predator. And if you go down below in the description, you will find a link to click where you'll get a free legendary, 3 epics, and I've put another code down there for another legendary character. So jump in the game with me, join my guild, and play some Raid Shadow Legends. The next part of the story, chapter 2, comes out. Play that at your leisure or skip it like I do. And then we get our first kind of scoring mode. This is called the Great Rift, and you're going to have a boss that you cannot kill. And that's that Big Betty right there. And basically you get 2 teams and they're at different times. So right now you can only do the first half, and then the second half opens after 12:24. You are ranked based on your total damage dealt, and you only have a limited number of turns. So you're not going to kill it. You're basically just going to rush down as much damage as humanly possible. And then you get rankings based on, how you score, and they have tiebreakers, things like that. So the thing to know is there are different levels. So, your top players, top 1%, they're going to get the most rewards, of course. I'm going to be shooting for maybe this top 10%. I don't get crazy and try to go for like the tops on this, but if that's you, go for it, have some fun with it. Otherwise you are going to at least get prizes if you're in the, ranking at all. So do play it if nothing else. I'm shooting for platinum. Next, our second page of the supply store opens. If you saw the first page because you've been playing, it's basically more of that. You're going to get all sorts of good rewards. So do go through the new content, go through, your chaos and everything else, and grab yourself your fragments. You've got a lot of good things in here. Undetermined ego crystals, omega codes, prism lenses, pulls, plus a bunch of level up type things like the psionic manuals for our new character. And this is pretty cool. They are updating both the Galactic Disaster content and the zero mode, which you'll see I think later on in the notes here. But now there's going to be new choices after you complete the interior, and you'll be able to move right over to the zero system. The zero system will also allow you to get the dimensional marker, because you can find the lab zero in chaos zero system now. Too many systems and zeros. But you now can get the forbidden cards outside of the event should you want to do it that way, which actually might be what I do. I may end up going through and getting my weekly points and then switching back to zero mode to level up more things over there. I think that's not a bad way to do it. And you'll see that you get the seasonal symbol like I mentioned. That way you can then pull those decks back over to do like the bosses or whatever. They are going to display the dimensional tunnel at all times. We all figured out you just go for 2 of the question marks back to back. So now they're just giving us that for free. And they're removing the option as that being one of the buffs where you can pick it and say, oh, where's the tunnel? You won't need that anymore. So it just saves something useless. Speaking of useless, you can now text message your characters. Awesome. This is, I guess, an RPG kind of a thing. Not everyone is in here. If that's your thing, whatever. I ignore text messages in real life, so better believe I'll ignore them here as well. And then they're going to have a new shop, and with new shops comes all sorts of good stuff to buy. You get these crystals of discord for the shop by defeating boss monsters in Chaos, Codex, Galactic Disaster, etc. And you'll just find the Blackthorn trade. You do have a max amount of crystals you can earn. You guys can come to the patch notes and take a look to see if you want. And then here are the different items. Again, I'm not going to read every one of them to you, but it's just really good stuff. So you got rescue anchors, you've got the rare, materials for progressing your characters, grow stones, advanced mod, the manuals for leveling people up, etc. And then of course you can come down here and get some units if you've got everything else that you want. So just another good place to get more of what you need to level your characters. This is fantastic. Then we have a couple events. First of all, you've got a Ray event, and basically by doing a certain checklist of things, you're going to get rewards. All the other rewards that you're used to in the game. So you're going to get things like crystals, prism lenses, some gifts for your partners, and there's going to be a daily check-in event. I believe this is for 21 days. And again, you're just getting a bunch of goodies. Oh yeah, you can see the 21 here for some anchors. So just log in every day, click the button. You know how log events go. And here's a list of all the different things you can get from that. Then they do talk about our new character, Chizuru. As of right now, you can see her base cards on the live stream. You can also find the images of the epiphanies from the JP stream. You just have to have them translated. I've read both. There's a lot to take in for this character here, but I think that overall, she looks to be a good single target damage dealing unit. And she really does specialize in that because of a particular debuff that you can only have on one enemy at a time. So there's going to be a lot of, I think, different strategies around her, particularly with, teams like, I don't know, Ray, who can buff up her damage, or Tressa, which will help have interactions with her cards. Do I think she is completely necessary? Not necessarily. We have a lot of good DPS units in the game right now. And when they are advertising the Tressa combo, if you have Tressa and Hugo, you already have a really good Tressa combo as it is. But this is, of course, going to be in your Void Realm, so a different element than he is. So I think that it remains obviously to be seen until we get some actual builds out there as to just how powerful she is. But she definitely doesn't seem bad. And again, I'm going to pull her. I'll be one of the ones testing her. So I'm looking forward to her. She's single target, whereas Yuki was AoE. And I hope the next character is a support of some fashion, just to kind of keep it mixed up. I don't want all DPSs. I'd like to have some other things. And then they go through just some basics of her kit down here. Again, I'll have a whole different video for her, so I'm not going to read this all to you today. And her partner actually seems really good for her, thankfully. So I'm actually going to push for this partner as well. Now, granted, you don't have to pull for her, but she does have some obvious synergy with the character herself, really kind of built around the way that the other kit worked. I would like to pull for her. I'm not going for duplicates, but I want to get at least the base copy. Then they talk about some just game improvements. First of all, you're going to have a favorite system on gifts for your various friends, and they will give you more points. There'll be a new interface for it, so it should make leveling characters more efficient to get them up there in the ranks. And they also give more gift options obtainable through your excursions. Sometimes you'll get like credits or you'll get a gift. You'll get more of this kind of stuff, and they're going to add gifts to the policies. So more places to get gifts, the gifts are better, and now you can pay attention to favorites to give to your units to give them even more affinity. This is also the patch that brings us the reduction in cost for leveling up combatants and partners, their credits, not all the other materials. And they're going to give you a refund on anything you have spent in excess of this new amount via in-game mail. So look forward to that. And we have the new season of Basin of Hyperspace. I did hear as well that they will be changing some of the turn limits in a future season, but not particularly this one. What's nice here is they also talk about how they'll have a new turn indicator. So we won't have to be guessing anymore. They'll talk about some bugs about this I'll cover here in just a few minutes. But basically, same thing, just new season. Go in there, try to get 3 stars and everything to get the most rewards. Last season was pretty straightforward and simple, so I'm not sure how hard this season will be in particular. They do have 2 new memory fragment sets. I've looked these over, and honestly, I don't know that I like either one of them. So the first one is a 4-piece set, plus 50% damage amount to instinct cards used to targets in ravaged state. It's so specific because you have to get them into ravaged state first of all, and I think the majority of your battle, they're not in ravaged state, so it feels too limited. And then Orb of Inhibition for a set, when hitting 2 times with 1 attack card, plus 10% damage amount to void cards for 1 turn. This feels like it's meant for the new character. The problem that I have with this one here is, off the top of my head, see how this is better than 3 2-piece sets. So I don't know, somebody who is going to farm this out will be able to test this better than I will, but right now I'm not really, nothing is screaming at me to pull these sets. So don't go crazy farming this just because you pulled Chizuru, whatever her name is. Do maybe look at this in comparison to like a 3 2-piece set setup that a lot of us are doing now. A couple other keynotes here. They're adding Ray's lobby, so you get this little, cute picture or whatever if you get her affinity high enough. They also are expanding Chaos Matrix rewards up to level 100. Battle missions and improvement editions, they are going to give more rewards for certain parts of chapter 6. And if you've already beaten those, they're going to send those to you in your mail. If you've cleared the content, don't worry, they're going to give it to you. And then they're going to give a lot of other minor improvements. Policy rewards and arc are increased. Again, they're adding a turn indicator in hyperspace, which is helpful for those of us that are like 1 turn away. And it's like, okay, do I keep pressing this battle or do I escape? They've got some other just generic animations and things they're fixing. Again, if you want to know all those details, feel free. They're also giving a new option. Instead of 2 battles, it'll be 3 battles for the set the enemy to 1 HP in normal battles for your chaos. I usually don't worry about that. The first 3 normal battles aren't particularly hard. And other just generic, UI related things. Again, all these little details you can kind of skim through if you'd like to. And then as far as the rest of these improvements, I'll just cover the couple I think are most impactful. The first one will tell you how many hits you will have on a card, which I think is particularly useful for characters that can add hits. Counterattacks are not fixed damage, so they've fixed it now and they can benefit from buffs, so your counterattacks will get stronger for those characters that have them. And the one we've all been waiting for, your save data will now display where you're at in the maximum as you're going through, and you'll get a warning message if you're going to go over that save data cap. So this is probably something we've all been crossing our fingers for and hoping for significantly for a long time. All the rest of these are just adjustments. Again, you can pause and read if you would like. Nothing huge to cover. A couple new packs for those spenders out there. I've actually still stayed free to play, so I haven't actually picked anything up. And then a whole lot of bug fixes, a couple notable ones in here, but not worth me reading every single bullet point to you. If you're that interested, come in here. But they just fix a couple issues that, people have gone through and seen, model issues, certain card issues. They fixed a couple things like some epiphanies being weird on certain characters. So come down here, take a look at your favorite characters and see if they have anything changed. So that's it, friends. I am super excited. Lots of great content in store. We've got the new character to look forward to, new rewards, refunds on rewards, better save data information on display. And hey, don't forget down below is that link and code for Raid Shadow Legends. So if you click that, you'll be supporting the channel. And until our next video or live stream, please take care of yourselves.